unselfish play. That unselfishness became contagious. Oh, man. Ty Lawson showing you he's got some ups to go with that speed.
Gallinari with the crossover.
Fans, Denver Nuggets fan 2 back here again, here to give you guys my game recap for the Nuggets 106-96 loss to the Utah Jazz at home. We fell to 8-5 on the year with this loss. I was pretty frustrated, pretty upset with this loss by the Nuggets. I thought we really just did not play well, did not execute well, played with little energy and effort, and really kind of gave the Jazz the game here. The Jazz are playing a very good basketball right now. I think they're overachieving, though, to an extent, and at the end of the day, I don't think they're as good a team as us, and for us to lose to them by 10 at home, just not acceptable, especially, when we blew them out by 17 early on in the year when we had our first meeting with them at home. Just not acceptable. One of our more frustrating losses this year, and as of late, we played with a lot of inconsistencies this season. I mean, this is a Nuggets team this year that has beaten teams like the Mavericks, like the Lakers, like the Heat just recently, but also has losses to teams like New Orleans and now Utah, at home. Not acceptable. Just a really frustrating loss and a game that I think we really kind of gave away. Overall, we had a pretty, poor shooting night. We were only 43% from the field, 37% from the three-point line, and 67% from the free throw line. That was one of the main reasons we lost, is because we couldn't knock down free throws in this game, and that was very frustrating. 67% from the free throw line is not acceptable for any team in the NBA, let alone this Nuggets team, and I was very disappointed in that. And we played way too perimeter offensively, settled way too much offensively, and really played at the Jazz's pace and tempo, and they were able to control the tempo of this game for the majority of the game. The Jazz had a pretty good shooting night. They were 52% from the field, got a lot of high percentage shots in this game. We're only 33% from the three-point line and 70% from the free throw line. But like I said, they did get a lot of high percentage shots in this game against our defense. I thought the interior of our defense was not good here against the Jazz. There was a couple good things, though, that we did in this game. We did have 11 offensive rebounds. I thought we did a solid job on the offensive glass of getting second chance possessions. That was a good thing to see. Had 21 assists. The ball movement for the most part was very good. We did have 44 points in the paint. We did a good job at times in this game of getting in that painted area and getting those easy shots and easy shot opportunities and getting high percentage shots. That was a plus. And we did have 7 blocks. I thought at moments we did a good job of protecting the rim. But for the most part, there was a lot of bad in this game. Like I mentioned before, the missed free throws really hurt us here in this game, and they've hurt us at multiple times this season so far already. Like I said, you only shoot 67% from the free throw line. That's not acceptable. In this game, we did have 39 free throw attempts, so we did a good job of getting to the foul line and being aggressive offensively, but we missed 13 free throws. That's 13 free points you left on the floor at the free throw line that, if you hit all of those, you end up winning the game. So just not acceptable, especially to miss 13 free throws when you get there 39 times. That was really disappointing, and that really hurt us in this game. We had 16 turnovers. I thought we did a pretty poor job of executing offensively at times in this game, and really gave away a lot of possessions here against the Jazz. The Jazz ended up finishing with 22 points off of turnovers. That hurt us. You're letting your opponent capitalize on your mistakes, and that really was a big reason why we lost this game, is the Jazz were able to get a lot of easy buckets off of our turnovers. We gave up 54 points in the paint. Like I mentioned before, the interior defense for the most part was pretty poor in this game. Gave up way too many high percentage shots to the Jazz and way too many easy shots at the rim here against the Jazz. We gave up 10 offensive rebounds, once again giving up way too many second chance possessions. We had only 11 fast break points in this game. We did not play at our tempo. Like I said, we settled way too much offensively and let the Jazz control the tempo of the game and control the pace of the game, and we played at their pace, not our pace, and obviously that is evidence of us only having 11 fast break points. We did not do a good job at all of speeding up the game or getting out in transition. We only had 11 points off of turnovers. That's not very good. Like I've mentioned multiple times before, when this team is at its best, it's when we're forcing turnovers, scoring points off of turnovers, and scoring fast break points. We didn't do either one of those well here in this game, and it cost us. And we were outscored 58-48 in the second half by the Jazz. That's really another one of the big reasons why you lose this game. Just did not play well in the second half. The Jazz came out and, like I said, forced their tempo on us, forced us to play their game, and it was a big reason why we lost. So just a real disappointing performance all around, and a pretty poor loss for us here against the Utah Jazz. Looking at some individual numbers here, Danilo Gallinari led the way for us. He had 18 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, was 2 of 6 from the field. 2 of 4 from the three-point line, and 12 of 12 from the free throw line. I thought Gallo was one of the only guys in this game that actually hit his free throws. I thought he did a good job of being aggressive offensively for the most part in this game, attacking the basket, getting to that foul line, getting 12 attempts and knocking them all down. But I don't like seeing him only get 6 shots. That was disappointing. Gallo's a guy that is one of our primary options, obviously offensively, and for him to only take 6 shots, that's not good, and I really don't like seeing that. I would like to see him have more shot attempts. I did, think he settled for the 3 at times in the game a little too much, but for the most part, I thought he did a good job getting to the free throw line and converting with his free throws, and finished with 18, 4, and 4. Had a real solid night. I mean, 18 points on 6 shots. That's never a bad night, especially when you shoot 2 of 6 from the field. So, good game for Gallo. A pretty solid game for him. But obviously would have liked to see him take more than 6 shots. Nene was decent. He had 18.6 rebounds, 3 assists, but had 5 turnovers. I thought Nene struggled at times in this game with playing physical, especially on the defensive end. Once again, Nene has just been so up and down this year. I mean, there's times where he plays physical, he plays assertive offensively, plays aggressive offensively, and there's other times where he just disappears in games on both ends of the floor. And this was a decent game for Nene. You don't like the 5 turnovers. That's way too much turnovers for Nene to have, and for anybody on our team individually to have, but especially coming from a big guy. You don't like seeing that. Him having 18 points, that's solid, but he was 8 of 15 from the field. You don't like seeing him have 18 points on 15 shots. If Nene is going to take 15 shots, he should probably finish with more than 18 points, and was only 2 of 7 from the free throw line. Not acceptable for Nene. And only had 6 boards. You don't like seeing that. Follow had a solid game. Had 16 points, 8 rebounds. I thought Aaron Aflalo was phenomenal on the glass here against the Jazz. You love seeing your 2-guard finish with 8 rebounds. I thought he played with great energy on the glass here against Utah, but he also turned the ball over a lot like Nene. He had 4 turnovers. You don't like seeing that at all. Was only 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 6 of 10 from the free throw line. 60% from the free throw line is not good enough from Aaron Aflalo, and I think Aflalo knows that. You obviously could see some frustration on his face as he missed those free throws, and just didn't shoot well. It was 4-10 from the field, 2-4 from the three-point line. You like seeing that, but besides that, just I'd say a decent game for Aflalo. He loved the 8 rebounds, but the 4 turnovers and then shooting 60% from the line, just not a good game from Aaron. Ty Lawson was decent. He had 13 points, 8 assists, 5 boards, 2 steals. Also, though, committed quite a bit of turnovers. He had 3 turnovers in this game. So if you look at that, in this game we finished with 16 turnovers. 12 of them came from Nene, Aflalo, and Lawson. So that obviously hurt us here. And Ty also really struggled shooting the ball here against the Jazz. He was 6 of 16 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Just could not knock down a shot, especially down the stretch in the second half, and just really struggled. He loved the 8 assists. I thought once again did a pretty good job of setting up his teammates. 5 rebounds is solid, but just could not hit a shot, and finishes with 13 points on 16 shots. Just not an efficient offensive night from Ty. And for the Jazz, Paul Millsap was obviously, I'd say, the MVP of the game for them. He finished with a double-double, 26 points, 12 rebounds, a steal and a block. Was 12 of 19 from the field and 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Just killed us in the fourth quarter. I mean, he really was able to kind of lead the Jazz to this victory down the stretch, and just got hot down the stretch. Could not miss a shot in that fourth quarter. Did a great job of hitting some tough shots. I thought Harrington's defense was okay on him, but he did a pretty good job of tearing up Al Harrington in the post in that fourth quarter, and just hit big shot after big shot for them. It was great on the glass with 12 rebounds. Paul Millsap is one of the most underrated players in the NBA, in my opinion, and he just killed us, and like I said, really shot the ball well in this game, and was huge in that fourth quarter for the Jazz offensively, and was great on the glass. And Paul Millsap is a guy that I've always disliked because he plays for the Jazz, but I tell you what, I would love to have Paul Millsap on the Nuggets. I know that ain't probably ever going to happen, but the guy is such a great player, and he had a huge night for the Jazz here. Gordon Hayward finished with 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. He was 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from the three-point line, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. That overall a decent night for Gordon Hayward. Played with a ton of energy. I thought defensively he had a pretty good game. He finished with 2 blocks and made some good plays in transition with the 2 blocks. One was on Ty Lawson, I believe. Pretty solid game out of Gordon Hayward. He played well. And then lastly, Al Jefferson had 18 points, 12 rebounds, double-double for him as well, to go along with 2 blocks. He did have 4 turnovers. You like seeing us force him to commit 4 turnovers, but was 8 of 17 from the field and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Had a pretty solid night, and has such a good post game. I mean, is another player that's so underrated. Him and Paul Millsap, 2 of the most underrated bigs in the game. And he killed us on the glass, and was able to do some good things in the post, and that's the Jazz's game offensively. They want to slow the game down and get a lot of post-ups with their bigs like Millsap and Jefferson, a lot of one-on-ones down there, and they did that here, and it really hurt us. I mean, Millsap and Jefferson combined for 44 points, 24 rebounds, and 3 blocks. You're not going to beat the Jazz when you allow Jefferson and Millsap to have those type of games. So tough loss for us, a game that I think we gave away. Congratulations to the Utah Jazz. I mean, they're playing great right now. They're also 8-5. And they're a real, young, deep team, kind of like us. Like I said, I think we're a better team. So we got to bounce back tonight. We take on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. I believe this starts a 5 or 6 game road trip for the Nuggets. Going to be a tough road trip for us. We're going to really see how mentally tough this team is, and just a tough loss. But now we got to refocus and got this big road trip. We played Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Washington, the Knicks, and Sacramento on this road trip. So like I said, we're going to see where this team's mentally toughness is at right now, because like I said, you come off such a great win and I guess a high feeling, if you will, when you beat the Heat, and then you have such a low feeling now that you lose to Utah at home, a team that you probably should beat. So we're going to see how mentally tough this team is starting tonight against Milwaukee. So that's my recap, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Tough loss for the Nuggets, but hopefully we can bounce back with a win tonight. So that's all I got, and as always, go Nuggets.